Do I have your attention? 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 Do I have your attention?
Is you taking notes?
Okay, you guys, so let's go over the ingredients. So you're going to need extra creamy Cool Whip. You're going to need a 72% cacao intense dark chocolate. It doesn't have to be Ghirardelli. You're also going to need an 8-ounce block of cream cheese. And of course, you're going to need some Oreo cookies so that we can make the pie crust. You don't have to do that. You can buy it already pre-made. And then, of course, the star of the show, our cookie butter. So, the first thing you're going to want to do if you do decide to make your own crust is you're going to want to take the cookies and remove the cream filling from inside of the Oreos. Do not throw it away. You're definitely going to end up still using that, so don't throw those away. Once you get all of your cookies completely crushed, you can use a food processor, or you can use your hands. You can use a hammer. Do whatever you got to do to get them nice and fine. You want it to be almost kind of sandy-like. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add in 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. That's more than enough. And then you're just going to mix it through so that it's slightly damp. You don't want it soupy. You don't want it swimming in butter. Just enough so that it is wet. If it still feels extremely dry, by all means, feel free to add more. Then you're going to get your pie shell. And then you're just going to slowly start to add in the Oreo crumbs. Now, when I did this, I used exactly, so think of this as individual cookie pieces. I used 70 cookie pieces, not 70 cookies total, 70 cookie pieces, okay, to make this crust. And I used almost about all of it. Now, this is a matter of preference. You do not have to build it up on the sides like I am doing. You can do it just so that it's on the bottom, and that's also completely fine. You know, if you're worried, you know, that your crust might not set the way you want it to, you don't have to. I like to have it up on the side because to me, it just gives, you know, it aesthetically makes it look better, but you do not have to do that. So the first thing you want to do if you do decide to build it up on the sides is get the sides done first. Don't worry about trying to make the middle look all pretty yet. Get your sides done, make sure it's nice and compact, and then take the rest of your crumbs and then fill in those gaps in the middle. Try to avoid overfilling this though. Because think about it, if you put way too many cookie crumbs when we bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 5 minutes, it's never going to set the way you want it to, and then it's just all going to fall apart. So try not to overcrowd it. So you don't want it too thin, but you also don't want it too thick. So now you just want to make sure that it's nice and compact, make sure there's no holes, no gaps, and then like I said, pop it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 5 minutes, and then you're just going to sit that to the side and let that cool. You don't have to do anything else beyond that. So then the next thing you're going to want to do is to get your filling done, which is really simplistic. You're going to get your 8-ounce package of cream cheese that's been nice and softened. Just leave it on at room temperature while you're getting your pie crust ready. And then you're going to use 1 cup of that delicious cookie butter. Baby, I'm telling y'all, once you start eating this pie, you are not going to be able to stop. It is that damn good. And so remember how I told you guys to make sure that you don't throw away the cream filling from the inside of the Oreos? You're going to use 2 heaping spoonfuls of that cream and just add it to your mix. Now, the reason why I'm using a fork just to slightly get it, you know, incorporated is so that when I go in and actually start to whisk it, you can use a hand mixer or you can use a whisk. It's completely up to you. I'm just doing this just to make it a little bit easier and to also loosen up that cookie butter because it's as thick as the consistency of normal peanut butter. So once you have that going, I added just a tiny splash of milk. Don't get out of control, just enough so that it will loosen up the pie filling. You don't have to put that much. So once you've started to incorporate the cream cheese, the cookie butter, and those 2 heaping spoonfuls of the cream from the inside of the Oreos, Make sure you're wiping down the sides of the bowl just to make sure that, you know, nothing's sticking to the sides. And then after you do that, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to take that entire container of your Cool Whip and you're going to put that in. Now, be mindful when you start to mix this in. Don't go too crazy with the spatula and just start stirring it all kind of harsh and crazy, because then that'll cause the Cool Whip to go completely flat, and you want that nice airy texture to remain in the pie. So I try to fold it. Every now and again, you'll see me kind of mix it up like you see me doing right now, but for the most part, I'm trying to fold it in. And I know that you guys are probably looking at this thinking, oh, well, it looks really, really white. Trust me, once you continue to mix this in and it's fully incorporated, it's going to take on that beautiful caramel color, which is what traditional peanut butter pies look like, except in this case, we are using cookie butter. So really take your time now to just kind of mix this in to keep it nice, light, and fluffy. So we're going to pop that mixture in the fridge and let that get nice and cold. So what we're doing right now is taking our chocolate bar and we're just simply, you know, chopping it up. I like to keep it in these nice shards like this just because it makes it look a lot fancier. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's completely up to you. I only use a little over half the bar, and that's just simply going to be what we're going to put on top. You're not mixing that in anything. That's just for a decoration on top. But definitely make sure that you pick a dark chocolate, because the filling is so sweet that the dark chocolate is going to completely balance everything out. So now that our pie shell has been nicely cooled and we've had our mixture sitting in the refrigerator for about, 15 minutes, now you're just going to nice and easily, y'all, nice and easily, honey, put your mixture inside of your pie crust. Now, the reason why I say nice and easy is because if you go into this and just start bashing this mixture all around on the inside, you're going to completely break up your crust, and you do not want that, because this is going to need to sit in the freezer for at least an hour. And if you don't have space in your freezer, if you're going to put it in your fridge, it needs to sit for at least 3 to 4 hours. I do mine overnight. So, really take your time with spreading this out so that you do not break up that crust, because although the butter has kind of gelled those cookie crumbs together, it's still very fragile right now. So it's important to not get too crazy. So don't get too fussed about trying to make it completely smooth. You definitely want to make sure that it's nice and even, but when you get close to the edge of the pie, just be really, really careful, because this filling is so thick that it will pull the crust away from the shelling. You don't want that. And then all you got to do is top it with those little shards of the chocolate, like I said, and then wrap it in some saran wrap. Pop it in your freezer for at least 1.5 to 2 hours if you're going to serve it on the same day. And if you have the luxury of waiting for the next day, just pop it in your fridge. You don't have to keep it in your freezer. Pop it in your fridge overnight, and then it'll be ready to go. And I'm telling you guys, this pie was so damn good. Think of it like every single pie that Popeyes and Burger King and all these places be trying to sell y'all that are overpriced. That's what they tried to do with this. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. So look, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, y'all babies stay cute and take care. And y'all go on ahead and make this damn cookie butter pie. I promise you, you make this pie, you won't regret it. How about that?
Simply Food by TY.